Today, I'm visiting a man who's spent the last 16 months in court-mandated drug rehab. He has a violent criminal history and several drug-related charges, the last of which saw him refused bail and serving time in prison. I'm keen to find out what rehab is really like for people whose addiction has found its lowest point. Odyssey House on the outskirts of Sydney takes about 750 substance abuse addicts each year. Many of their residents are bailed out of prison into the program, which insists that drugs are just the symptom of underlying problems.
A million things run through your head about things that I've done to be here, and realising, I've got a problem and thinking what I've done to me two boys, and then myself, and my mum, everything, you know what I mean? Hi mate. You too, how are you? Good, thanks. I didn't know what to expect, so people probably think I'm going to be trapped inside, sort of like a psych ward or something, I suppose. That was probably the most biggest thing for me. I didn't know what I was walking into. Yeah, the reason I started smoking, using drugs, I liked being liked and didn't know if I had enough to bring to the table to be liked. I don't know whether I'd be the centre of attention, but I'd always go that one step further where I'd have a bit more than everyone else.
Speed, then ice, took over Ricky's life, becoming an everyday habit. But the lowest point was still to come.
When my father did pass away and I did break up with my wife, it all happened around the same period, within a couple of months. My drug addiction probably did get a bit heavier after that. When I was caught for drug supply, I was high. I was actually in a motel room. When they knocked on the door, I thought it was something else. But when I opened up that door and seen there was probably 5 or 6 police officers there, it was like, oh no, I'm gone. I'll show you the woodwork if you like.
Ricky spent time in jail before being bailed to Odyssey House for their long-term rehab program that includes a deceptively simple mix of counselling and recreational activities designed to build residents' self-esteem.
Making it for my children. It was a bit overwhelming when I first got here, yeah. The first 2 weeks is the hardest, adjusting to everything, especially when you go to the meeting and that for the first time. At times, it was like I wanted to go, but then I related it back to what I'd done and I needed to be here. So when I'm in the woodwork shop, making things, when I first started making them, I'm thinking, what am I going to make the kids like the most? And as I'm making it, I'm thinking, I hope they like this.
Some people, we say rehabilitation, but for some people it's habilitation. If you look at some of the backgrounds of some of our clients, they've never done any of this kind of stuff.
Sometimes if you've done something wrong, it'd feel like you're a kid, you know what I mean? But we've put ourselves in those situations to be here, There was probably a few times that you thought, what do we do this for? Having to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, because I'd never had to do that before. And I'm thinking why is this got to be done every morning for?
The biggest attrition rate is right between the first 10 days because it's a big turnaround for people who've been using, who have had no structure. You come into an environment where there's lots of focus, you have to do things, you don't have your major means of coping because there's no drug use, and so consequently a lot of people find that very difficult. But then half of those people will probably return.
Things that you sort of do in an everyday life that were probably more stressful for me. Everyone gets a chance to cook and it's like a normal day that you'd have to do out there. We sort of use that term in here and out there. In here is just like out there, but it's just safer, you know what I mean? You've still got to do it, everyone's got a job function, you still need to get up and go to work, and it does make sense after a while. You either get it or you don't get it. You need this place more than this place needs you.
Ricky's now graduated to level 4 of the program and close to the end, and has faced some tough realities, spending countless hours in intensive counselling.
Yeah, the hardest part of rehab is saying goodbye to people and not being able to see them as much as you used to see them, especially when you first come into the program, because your mind's not 100%. Today, my kids think they don't really know it's a drug and alcohol rehabilitation centre, but they know I'm somewhere, they know I had a few problems before. I told him I went away for work, but why didn't Daddy tell us he was going away for work? He just went. I think I had to get to that low point for it to really hit home, yeah. I'll always be a recovering addict, I realise that. I don't think about using drugs anymore. I know where that's going to lead me if I do use drugs. I hope for a good outcome at court, to go back to work, be the father that my kids deserve, and be the son. You know, I remember my mum saying to me not long before I got locked up, "I'll always love you. You know, you're my son, but I don't like the person you've become."